Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. There is one thing that can really change your life if you're stuck, you feel like you're not moving forward. It's just, you feel that there's more out there in life, but you don't know how to get it. And it's actually very simple, and it's called hypnotherapy. And many of us have an aversion to it, thinking that somebody's going to control our minds, just from watching TV and movies and things like that. It's probably not what you're thinking. And I can personally tell you that because I did think those things until I had hypnotherapy. And it was a game changer in moving my life forward. We're going to talk with somebody today who practices that and a lot more. And he is the Soul Center Healing Hypnosis Practitioner and the owner and operator of Ropes and Wings and changing lives all the time. He's Tony Mowery. He joins us on the program today. How's everything going on your way?
Beautiful, until I lost power today.
Well, fortunately, your cell phone was charged up.
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
So you offer something called quantum healing hypnosis. And I've heard, the word quantum healing. Of course, we know hypnosis, hypnotherapy. What does that mean when you put that all together, quantum healing hypnosis?
So basically, we're taking clients into the theta brainwave state, basically the daydream state. So how you experience a daydream is how you experience hypnosis. For most clients, that's the way it is. And when we're in that state, that deep, relaxed, meditative daydream state, we can find any blockages, attachments, entities that are in the energetic field of the client, and we can assist in removing them, whatever they may be.
So I've given examples before of what some of those things could be. I'd love to hear one from you. I can give my personal situation, but I'll pause on that. What are those things that are blocking us that in our subconscious that we might not be aware of?
So as humans, we go through these negative traumatic experiences or seemingly negative traumatic experience, negative emotions, and this causes a rip or tear in our aura, which is God's armor, of course, and allows lower vibrational things to get attached into your energetic field. Now, those things, infinite possibilities of what they could be. I've come across entities, earthbound souls, lost from light entities, which I call them lost from light. They're demons. That could be trapped emotions that we stored there. And it could be AI, etheric AI. It could be devices, implants. And these are all energetic, of course. And what that does is it causes a block in your energetic flow, which if anybody knows electricity, if you have a block or a kinked wire, that energy impacts that, and it causes a blockage, which then manifests physically in our reality as an ailment or an issue.
And are these things that go back to our childhood, things that we experienced, call them limiting beliefs? Is that what's going on here?
Could be. So we are actually in a state of hypnosis as a child up until about 7 years of age, now give or take. And sometimes to be able to find out what traumas or emotional traumas that you experienced before that time, you almost have to go back into a hypnotic state to find it, because it's repressed memories and things that we've dealt with and pushed down.
I can tell you firsthand, when I did hypnotherapy the first time, I knew what was in my childhood. Not that it was bad, but we all got things, that could be holding us back. I told the practitioner, just take me back to my childhood. That's where we got to go. And it was interesting seeing myself as a child and confronting some things, like being bullied on the playground being one of them. What an eye opener. I call it connecting the dots from that time to what holds us back as adults. I want to hear your backstory, in helping Tony, in helping people with their challenges. How did this all begin for you?
Well, I own and operate the ranch right now, but I was a paramedic for 30 years. And over that time, I felt like I kept getting more and more weighted down, sluggish, brain fog, all these issues. And as a medic, the medical field wasn't helping or healing anybody, so I dove down some rabbit holes. I came across Dolores Cannon, of course, and past life regression, and I'm like, oh, that's it. That's it. It's something in my a past life that's affecting me now in this time. And I trained in that. I trained in quantum, beyond quantum healing hypnosis. And I'd done a few sessions with family and friends, and my wife especially. And when I got in and did a session with my wife, I kept running into a block. She'd get to a dirt road street in some ancient or old town, and she had a block on her chest, a black thing that she described, and all of a sudden she got really anxious and sweating profusely and didn't know what it was. So I thought it was some kind of negative entity that was there, but I didn't know how to take care of it. And then I did the only thing I knew to do was flood it with white light, which pissed it off and made it more angry. And I couldn't get those blockages off. So then I went and trained in soul center healing hypnosis, where we specialize in removing any entities or blockages that are in people's energetic field. And that's pretty much where it all started then. I kind of compare myself. We have to be a hostage negotiator. We have to be an investigator. And my background in paramedicine and working on all those police teams and special rescue teams, I regard each of these sessions like a soul rescue mission. Mm. So each session we're rescuing maybe 10, 20 souls off of each person.
What an interesting way to look at this. Seriously, I've never heard it done that way. And I've used the analogy before of being like an investigator, like CSI Tony. You got to go back and put the pieces together what happens, and you go even deeper when it comes to the the quantum side, and even looking at that negative energy that somebody might be holding within. Right.
And the higher self always presents the things that you need to heal from in this now moment. So it could be child trauma, it could be any entities, but they always come up, whatever you need healing from in this now moment is what will be presented. And so then we have to go with the flow and change the questioning and figure out what we need to do to help remove it or heal from it. And it's a really interesting field that I've gotten myself into now.
Tell me about what you just said. Let's go a little bit deeper, where the soul will present the things that you need healing from most. Now, do you mean during a session that is what's going to come up, the things that are, I guess, priority within your soul?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to present what needs healing most in that now moment, in that session, and that's what will be presented. And in each session after that, then we'll work on something else. It's like layers of an onion. We peel back one layer, we heal that layer, we fix that layer, and then we get down to the next layer, we take care of that layer, and till we get to the core where we're balanced and the body can heal naturally like it's supposed to.
Past lives. Do you firmly believe that we all had a past life?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I'm a preacher's kid, so I come from a deep Christian background, which that was absolutely not taught, and it was blasphemy. But absolutely, these past lives affect us so much in this lifetime, and it's amazing how that all these unseen things affect us so much.
I'm learning more and more about it, and realizing that there could be our past lives out there. What sealed the deal for you?
Oh, I guess what sealed the deal for me is, I don't know if you've ever heard of the channeling of the law of one. And that kind of cemented, I went through that, and that kind of cemented for me. I'm like, oh my God, everything I was taught is not correct. Not that I was lied to, it's just not correct. We all have past lives. Our soul, this is a school, if you will, that we go through these lifetimes, learning different lessons and learning things so we can achieve a higher vibration and ascend, basically.
I don't know if this connects, but I have an affinity for the 1800s. I don't know what it is. I just love looking at pictures right around the 1850s where they had photography, so it's the real deal. It's not a painting or drawing or anything. And I love looking at the clothes. Like, how did they do that, man? That you didn't have machines like we have today. And just that stuff you're wearing looks better, than today's clothes. Amazing. So I did a genealogy session with somebody who specializes in looking into our past. And she identified, I wasn't really close with my dad. She identified that, and I had recently found out I'm part Lithuanian, never even knew, father's side. And she traced it back, and my father's father was a tailor in the 1800s, worked his butt off in Lithuania, and was able to make enough money to move his family to New York City, and they had a pretty good life. And she even identified the street that he lived on, but he was a tailor. So in my mind, either it's in the DNA or I was there in the 1800s. That's what I'm feeling. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Right. And there's a lot of stories like souls of our grandparents or whatever, we could be that aspect of the soul. So it could have been us in that time as our ancestors. So it's very possible.
Right.
Anything's possible. Infinite possibilities.
Yeah, especially, if you're feeling, listen, I talked to somebody who does past life regressions, and she did one for a man, and I trust her. And she tells me that she said that you were shot. I think it was maybe the 1700s in the back. This is what's coming up. And he said, I can't believe you're saying that. As far as I can remember, I've had a pain in the middle of my back, and nobody can figure out what it is. It's always there. It always aches me. Call it a coincidence, but she brought that up. She had no idea, what he was dealing with. Right.
Crazy. And that carries forward too. So we'll have those pains. And the same thing with Earthbound Souls. I listen to a lot of sessions online now of other people's sessions, and I think sometimes that those pains and stuff are actually earthbound souls that are stuck there. So however they came traumatically out of the body, whatever happened to them, they didn't transition right. They missed their window, or some negative emotion kept them in this realm. So they're carrying, even though they don't have a body, they're carrying all their emotional trauma and also their physical trauma with them. So when they attach in the energetic field, they're actually bringing those issues that they have with them, and it reflects into the clients that I deal with. And so once we help them back to transition, then all of a sudden, immediately, those issues that the client had are immediately gone.
Amazing. Hypnosis. Let's dispel a couple of quick misconceptions. I describe it as you give us the tools to open up, a key to open up our mind to find healing and what's going on with our past and how it's connecting to now. You're not doing anything except allowing us access. Would you say that's relatively right?
Oh, absolutely. I always refer to it as, I am just a voice guide. I am providing you the space, and I am assisting you into finding out your root cause of your issues. I'm just there to ask the right questions, to guide the session. The client is doing all the healing. they're doing all the discovery. I'm just there as a voice guide to make sure to ask the right questions. Because in the point in meditation or hypnosis, you wouldn't be able to do a self one very well because it's kind of hard when you're in that deep, relaxed, meditative state to come up with the right questions to ask, to discover.
And just to be clear for everyone, you can't control somebody's mind. You can't make them do something that they don't want to do. You can't get sensitive information like their credit card numbers or social security numbers unless they want to give it up. If
right.
they don't, there's no way that you're able to use some, hypnotic formula to get that info.
No. And the same way with hypnosis, if you don't want the healing, it's not going to happen for you. It's not going to work. You can only do what you will allow or what you want to do.
And to your point, after I had hypnotherapy, before we connected here, a few years ago, I suggested my sister do it and set her up with what I thought was a reputable hypnotherapist. She had maybe 3 sessions, and then she says, it didn't work. It just didn't work for me. I know her personality. I really feel that she wasn't open to it at that time, and that's why it didn't work. Same thing where, hypnotherapy, very famous for helping people stop smoking. If, let's say, a spouse, partner, makes an appointment for their other half to get them to stop smoking, if they don't want to stop smoking, it's not going to work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. What I love about what I do is it's with other modalities where the healer is telling you what they found and what they did and what they released. The big difference is when you're in hypnotherapy and we're guiding you through a session, when you are seeing it, when you are experiencing it, and you are releasing it, it's a much more profound healing effect. And it's really beautiful. I see clients in the beginning, they go from dull and dim to real bright and shiny after the session and full of energy, and they just can't believe what just happened. So it's pretty amazing.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel great. I do. I regard these as a soul rescue mission, and each one is I'm rescuing lost souls. I'm not only helping the client, but I'm helping any of these lost souls that are stuck, trapped, and we're just helping everybody back home.
What was your pivotal moment, the game-changing moment where you knew this stuff worked or you knew that you needed it?
Well, that's why I was diving into it. And when I had my first session, I just couldn't believe it. Pains that I described during the session and stuff like that just automatically just disappeared. Any emotional negative traumas that I had, once I saw where it came from, whether it was past life or whether it was an entity, where it came from, once you see it, you're able to release it. And it's so freeing, and it's sending shivers up my spine right now, the amazing things that happens with it.
Do you remember one moment briefly that was that moment? Maybe you were in a session where things came clear for you.
I think probably was that first session where a lot of the entities that were released were lost souls from scenes that I was on as a paramedic, the real traumatic events. In that instance, so our healthcare workers, our police, our military, in that instance, we're coming into a scene like that. We're a light in the darkness. We're a person that's supposed to know what's going on. And because we are going through so much stress and trauma with work or at home, when we go into these scenes, that just opens you up kind of for these things to attach to you.
See, you run deeper than most hypnotherapists because of the quantum healing connection, which I find fascinating and fabulous. You harness the power of energy and realize that.
Yeah.
If somebody's just a hypnotherapist, okay, great. Yeah, get the job done there. But you look at it from a different vantage point because energy is everything.
Absolutely. And I also use, so when we're removing stuff off and we're doing the healing, we ask them to fill it with with whatever light of their choice. And what I use also is tuning forks in the session. So if they ask for a color, I'll strike a color tuning fork that they can visualize that color frequency going in and healing and filling up those voids and balancing the body.
Amazing. Personal question. You live on a ranch. Mm-hmm. Wow. How did that happen?
Well, I was born and raised in Pennsylvania and was working in Indiana, and I just had to get out of that flat state. And I always wanted a place of my own, and we decided to move to Tennessee and get a ranch.
That's what? Wow. And I envy you. It's just there's times where I just want to go somewhere up in the mountains somewhere and could be happy doing that. Did you have that moment in your life where you just needed some peace?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. I had to get out of the cities. I just want to be out by myself on a ranch and raise our own food, and that was one of the reasons, too, is we wanted to raise and grow our own food so we weren't relying on grocery stores.
Yeah, well, there's something to be said there, because I truly believe, and others have said it too, that our food supply is it's tainted, pesticides, a lot going on there that we're ingesting. You don't even know where it's coming from.
Absolutely.
Ropes and Wings. Ropesandwings.com is your website. Where did that name come from?
Oh, that's part of a love story, actually. I used to always call my wife Angel, and she called me Cowboy. And when we were coming up from the name for the ranch, Cowboys and Angels Ranch was always taken, so we decided to go with Ropes and Wings. So I'm the rope, and she's the wings, and that's how we come up with the name.
Well, you could look at it in other ways, too, because it's part of your quantum healing hypnosis practice, but you're the rope that grabs somebody, and then you give them wings so they're able to fly.
Absolutely. And it's beautiful. It just ties all together.
Yeah.
It was like it was meant to be.
Ties all together, no pun intended on the ropes there.
Right.
How does it start with you, Tony? If this resonates for somebody, they're looking for some inspiration, looking for a change, just they've gotten over the thought that hypnotherapy is mind control, so not. They reach out to you, and can they do even a quick phone call just to see if it's a right fit for them?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you go to ropesandwings.com, there's ties to all my socials and YouTubes, and there's sessions on the YouTube that they can look at and see how a session goes. And since we do it online over Zoom with a headset that is good quality, and they can reach out to me, send me a message, and we can make sure that it's the right fit for you, and I can walk you through it, and we can get it set up.
Love it. Time to get rescued. Seriously.
And they can easily, yeah, absolutely. I love to help everybody, and they can easily book online too, book a session.
Tony, great talking with you today. Love your vibe, love your energy, and you've been helping people for decades and decades, and it just continues. And I can feel that your passion there. That's your purpose. You've nailed your purpose.
Absolutely, it's all from the heart.
Appreciate you being here today. Really do.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I love it.
Ropesandwings.com. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole, or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your fly. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.